Do you believe in guardian angels? Right after I turned 40, I went through a brutal divorce and lost my father all in a 6-month period. I also used to be really active, and I'd even been training for a triathlon before my life fell apart. But after the funeral, I stopped leaving the house. I told myself it was temporary, but time kept moving, and I didn't. I worked from home and ordered everything online. I ignored my sister's calls and let laundry pile up. My bike sat untouched in the garage, covered in dust and guilt. One afternoon, I decided to ride it. I thought maybe movement would help my brain stop spinning, but when I tried to pump the tires, the back wheel locked and the chain jammed. I almost cried in frustration trying to fix it. Finally, I gave up and looked for bike shops nearby. To my surprise, there was a new one down the block that had opened up during my self-imposed exile. The fact that it was brand new seemed like a sign somehow. It wasn't connected to my old life. So I pushed the broken bike down the street. A woman stood behind the counter, eyeing my bike like it had personally offended her, and I wondered if maybe I'd made a mistake coming here. "What did you do to this thing?" she asked. Her tone was blunt, but not unkind. "I let it sit too long," I admitted. She didn't ask any more questions. She wheeled it to the back and disappeared. "Come back in an hour," she called out. I wandered around the block like a ghost with nowhere to haunt. All the storefronts I'd seen a million times made me remember coming here with my wife or my dad. Only the bike store didn't hurt to look at. So eventually, I just sat on a bench and stared at it and waited for time to tick by. When I returned, the bike looked almost new. I reached for my wallet, but she stopped me with a quick shake of her head. "Don't worry about it," she said. "Just take better care next time." I started riding again, short distances at first. Each ride was harder than it should have been. As I kept pushing that old bike harder and harder, I noticed more issues with it. The handlebars felt loose. A week after that, the pedals squeaked. I could have fixed these issues myself, but I went back to her shop anyway. It was still the only place that felt safe to go. Every time I returned, that woman was there, and every time we talked more. It started as casual comments about weather or tires. Then out of nowhere, she asked if I was okay. I said I was just going through something. She nodded like she had already guessed. One afternoon, I asked her directly, "Have you ever lost someone?" She kept working, adjusting the brakes and checking the spokes. Then she answered without looking up. "My husband died 5 years ago," she said, "by his own hand. Some days I still wait for the sound of the front door." I didn't know how to respond, but she just kept working. "You're not broken," she said. "You're just stuck. Broken means it's over. Stuck means you haven't moved yet." That night, I pulled my father's old bike out of the garage. It was rusted and red and untouched since the funeral. I cleaned the frame, scrubbed the chain, and oiled the gears. I knew I was going to have to take it into the shop if I ever wanted it to really work again. But the thought of showing it to someone, it was my dad's, and he wasn't here anymore, didn't feel as impossible as it had the day before. The next day, I brought it to her, and she asked if she wanted to learn how to fix it myself. I said yes, and after that, we'd work on it together every day after her shop closed, and we'd talk about her husband and my dad. She never acted like a therapist, but she gave me something that therapy never had. She reminded me that stuck isn't the same as broken, and because of her, I'd started moving again.